How we doing, YouTube? Back at you with another video. Today's topic is going to be the law of magnetism by John C. Maxwell out of his book 21 Irrefutable Laws of Leadership. So this is a very interesting chapter. I was thinking about it and just seeing how important it is and just understanding how important leaders know what kinds of people they're attracting. In this book, the author uses the Dallas Cowboys as an example. Back in the '60s and '70s, the Dallas Cowboys had a squeaky clean image under Coach Tom Landry, and Tom Landry was a man that had strong family values. You know, uh, Integrity was important to him, and that affected the team. The team was not a team known for, you know, police arrests and things like that back in the '60s and '70s. So the author talked about the impact Tom Landry, the leader, had on the entire team. You know, so when Tom Landry stopped being the head coach in the late '80s, the author talked about how the Dallas Cowboys changed. The squeaky clean image was no longer there after Tom Landry left. So, uh, you know, the law of magnetism is important, especially as a leader because it affects the entire team. The leader is going to attract people like him. And one of the reasons for this is that if the players respect the leader, you know, then definitely they're going to accept and allow things from the leader to come upon them. I listened to this story. This was years and years ago. And I just remember it for some reason. Michael Jordan, he served under basketball coach Dean Smith at University of North Carolina. And I remember this story. He was already an accomplished basketball player in the NBA. And they were visiting UNC for some kind of ceremony, and he was riding with the player in, and like I said before, he's already professional, and he rode in, and all the spots were taken, and the only thing that was left was a handicap spot, and the player that was with Michael Jordan said, why don't you just take this handicap spot? And Michael Jordan said, no, I can't take that. And the player asked him why. Why can't you just park here? And we're already late, for the ceremony. I think that's what was going on. They were late, and Michael Jordan said, "No, I can't. I can't park there. I gotta find another park." And player asked why, because he said, hey, what is Coach Dean Smith gonna think? So, uh, and then just knowing and just reading more about his relationship with his coach, he really respected his coach. And when people, and that goes back to the law of respect. Law of respect is something that the author didn't even discuss in the book. The law of respect, when I think about it, I just thought about it right now. The law of respect opens the door for the leader to uh, change or alter who his players or whoever's working for him were before they were with him. So, like, for instance, if you weren't a man of integrity, and you respect your leader, 9 times out of 10, if you stay with your leader, you're also going to become a man of integrity. So the law of respect, when I think about it, the law of magnetism works in tandem. You know, and he didn't give a whole lot of information about Tom Landry, but one thing, I would probably say, and just going off of this, was that, Tom Landry carried a lot of respect with his players. You know, for his family values to be extended to the entire team, they had to have respect. So that's important. And then also, one thing that really stood out to me about this chapter was that he wants to communicate to the leaders, You don't attract what you want. You attract what, or you attract who you are. You know what I mean? So let's say, for instance, I give my example. I had thought about it and just had self-reflection on my team and myself when it came to this chapter. And I have 7 people working for me right now on my team. And when I think about my team, there's 3 characteristics, even 4, stand out to me. Number 1, dependable. Number 2, hardworking. Number 3, meekness. And meekness is a word I choose to use because I don't want to communicate that they're just ones that can be easily led astray, but I want to use it's more of a submissive, because meekness, what my pastor calls it, strength under control. Strong people who can be submissive at any point. That's what I think about. And the author was saying that really your team is a reflection of you. You know what I mean? So if you're not a hardworking person, then you're not going to attract people who are hardworking. And that's one of the things even with my first 2 people I had, they're not on my team now. One thing that shocked the managers around was that usually, when they hired, people from temp services, that they would turn over quickly. And the 2 people I had that ended up staying with me, I would probably say 6 months, which was just unheard of. Both of them did. So, you want to understand and understand that not only do you attract people, that are just like you, but the author said you're going to attract people that are on a low, that if you take your 3 qualities, you're going to attract people who are a few levels below you, which is actually interesting though, because I didn't think about that before I read the book. So let's say if your leadership is a 7, then you're going to attract leaders who are a 5. So that's it's important, for us to understand that, because of course we can inorganically attract people, but this is talking about us using the natural law of attraction. And if you want to, let's say for instance, change your team, then or if you want to change the team or the people that you're attracting, then you have to change you. It's taking responsibility, to say if I'm attracting the wrong people, is first I'm looking at me. It's very interesting. I'm reading this one quote. Al McGuire, former head coach at Marquette University, once said, "A team should be an extension of the coach's personality. My teams were arrogant and obnoxious." So, basically what the coach is saying is I'm arrogant and obnoxious. So, unfortunately, that's what my teams are also arrogant and obnoxious. What I mean? He's actually talking about himself. When a leader's talking about his team, he's really talking about himself, which is actually interesting in itself. But yeah, so this law of magnetism, very important us to understand, because one thing I like about this law is that it helps a leader to understand himself in a very, very fair way. So definitely, if you desire to change or change the people that you're attracting, you got to start with you. So, the next chapter is the law of connection. Look forward to it. So I'll check you out in the next video.